drama, action, storylines, personalities, athleticism, energy, passion. These are the ingredients that create a product that we cannot stop loving to hate, loving to love, or regardless of whether you like it or not. It is a product that millions and millions of people cannot stop talking about. Pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is a magical thing at times, and what makes it even more magical is when the live crowd is invested. Nothing is better than hearing a fan pop for a special moment, or maybe when Dominic Mysterio turned on his dad in 2022, like when The Rock came back to SmackDown a few months ago in 2023. Those moments to me were pretty unforgettable, and I'm not gonna lie, when The Rock came back, I almost cried. I was tearing up a lot. Anyways, I'm Mr. Scopey, and in this video, I am one of those fans who will be giving the internet my opinions on who has the mid, the bad, and the good bookings on Raw and SmackDown for December 2023. So with that being said, let's get into the video. First things first, we're going to start it on neutral ground. Um, I'd like to say on SmackDown, the mid booking is going to have to go to Jimmy Uso, in my opinion, because he's kind of just, he's got a story and it's like not good, it's not bad, it's somewhere in the middle, right? And I'm not sure they know really what to do with Jimmy Uso. They obviously had a plan for Jay, but since they split the Usos, Jimmy has kind of just been in no man's land, I feel. He is still somewhat in no man's land. So I don't know, man. He went from hating Roman Reigns to I want to be back in the bloodline, and he acknowledges Roman Reigns, and then he tried to be a little tribal chief junior for a time, and now it's just like, what is this guy doing, man? Like, what is Jimmy doing? Very talented. He could talk on the mic. He's not terrible on the mic. He's entertaining, and yeah, it feels like they're just kind of keeping him around until it's time to make Jimmy and Jay Uso fight each other for maybe a WrestleMania match. So I don't know. That's for SmackDown. As for Raw, I I don't know if WWE knows what they're doing with this faction, but I gotta give it to Damage Control as a whole. It's mid booking right now. It was in the bad booking if you caught the recent KQ podcast. I don't know, man. I love Io Sky. Bailey deserves better. Dakota Kai is currently injured, but she's great too. Kairi Sane coming back is kind of crazy. Asuka's in the faction now. You have a stacked faction, but they're kind of just in these weird feuds with Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair and like Shotzi and whoever else they got. I forgot. It was Mia Yim. Michin. I personally think Damage Control should be booked more strong, kind of like Judgment Day was, and how the Bloodline was, like 2021, 2022, where they're just taking people out and asserting their dominance, pretty much. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. They just need more. They need more of a push. But it's mid booking at the moment, at least for December. On to bad booking. Man. For Raw, I gotta say Dominic Mysterio, and I know he's like a POS heel at the moment, but I feel like they really need to have him just like they need to go like they need to snap on him, like they need to have him go crazy. Like he needs to be a scumbag of a heel. Like, I'm talking like 07, 08 Randy Orton type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I've mentioned this before on a podcast, but I'm going to just safely assume that not many people have watched that podcast. So it was in that podcast. Um, it was in that podcast. Um, I mentioned wanting to see Dominic like go into a feud maybe with Ricochet, because you got Samantha Irvin as the announcer, or Seth Rollins, you know, just have him do something scummy to their wives and get some more heat. Not like he needs it, but and he needs to be put over more in the ring, because he's kind of just a slimy heel at the moment, and he I don't know, he feels like fodder. Like he held the North American title, an NXT title for a few months, like 4 or 5 months. Correct me if I'm wrong. Lost it, got it back. He did some title defenses here and there, but like there's a problem within WWE where they like to have all these interrupted finishes or just distraction finishes, and it's kind of being played out at this moment because of the bloodline, and then you had the Judgment Day in on it, and then yeah. So put some respect on Dominic Mysterio's name. I'm actually a fan of his. I wasn't at first, but he got better in the ring with the little time he's been given, and I know he can talk on the mic, but he's one of the number one heels that the company has right now, and he's one of the number one heels on Raw. So gotta do better for Dom, man. For SmackDown, bad booking. I would say it's Bianca Belair, simply because I don't know why she's in this, like why she's still feuding with Damage Control. There's literally no reason she should be feuding with Damage Control. If anything, she should be feuding with Rhea Ripley. She's part of the new generation of stars for the company, and Rhea is also a star in her own right. And I don't know, man. I don't know if they've really had them go against each other. I don't think they have. At least not in a feud. And if not that, then I don't know, man. I think Bianca should turn heel. They kind of hinted towards it when Charlotte was getting all these opportunities against Asuka, and just going right over Bianca. Charlotte just skipped right to the front of the line. They kind of teased Bianca heel turn, but I think she got injured for a little bit and came back, and then she's still a face, which is fine. I don't hate Bianca. I think she's incredibly talented. I think every person on this list for bookings and other things that's going to be in the video is incredibly talented, because you have to be a pro wrestler. But man, Bianca, not sure what they're doing. Like why it's just she needs to be doing something better. And if Damage Control was better, then maybe I wouldn't be complaining. But I don't know, man. Like moving on. Let's end the bookings on a high note, right? And first, I'm gonna have some honorable mentions, or maybe dishonorable mentions, starting with bad booking since we just did it. Dishonorable mentions for bad booking would be Chelsea Green and Piper Niven as a team. And Xia Li, simply because they had something going for Xia Li in November when Becky had the NXT Women's Championship, and they put Xia Li over like I wanted them to, and then they just kind of were like, all right, we're gonna halt that push, and you're gonna disappear into Netherlands or something like that. So yeah, those are the dishonorable mentions for bad booking. Honorable mention for mid booking, or whatever type of respect it would be. I don't know. Honorable mention for mid booking would be Santos Escobar and Caden Carter and Katana Chance as a team. Santos is here because I like what they're doing with him, but I'm not 100% set on it yet. Like, I want to see how far they go with Santos before I actually decide whether or not it's good booking or bad booking or just stays mid. As for Caden Carter and Katana Chance, I love that they won the tag titles, to be honest. When they had their debut match on, I think it was SmackDown, or maybe it was Raw. It was on one of the main brands, main rosters. They looked really good. They were up against not Rhea. They were up against Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, and they had a really good match. Really good match against those women. But then they just kind of disappeared from the main roster. They weren't on TV. At least not the version I watched on Hulu. They cut some things out sometimes on there. But yeah, they did not include those two women, Caden Carter and Katana Chance. And I'm like, bro, they're really good. So yeah, onto the honorable mentions of good booking before I give my final good booking opinions. The honorable mentions for good booking will be Drew McIntyre. Love his heel story. At first I was kind of not with it, but now I'm like invested. Seth Rollins, because it's Seth freaking Rollins. Gunther, duh. Becky Lynch and Nia Jax, because their current feud is probably one of the most entertaining things in the women's division at the moment, and that's no disrespect to Mommy Rhea Ripley. I love Rhea, but man, they just yeah. Anyways, on to my actual good booking opinions. So for Raw, I have Shinsuke Nakamura, and it's only because they're one, booking him to be smart, cunning, powerful. He's a threat. Like, you feel and see that he's actually a threat to his opponent. And two, they're kind of dipping their toes and reaching out into other things that they haven't really done. Like for Xia Li, when she got called up to the main roster, they kind of had like a similar thing where it was like they brought in these vignettes of comic book style video packages, and it was very cool. They're doing the same thing with Shinsuke and Cody Rhodes. I thought it was very cool. They're allowing Shinsuke to like narrate in his native tongue, which is Japanese. Very cool. I love that. They're not shying away from who Shinsuke is. He deserves that respect, and I think he deserves a title run at some point. I'm not sure if it'll be a world title run or a mid-card title run. Either way, this man is long overdue for a title run just because of that. Look at how far he can go. They have already helped him spread his wings, man. If you know, you know. But yeah, and for SmackDown, I gotta go with Kevin Owens, man, because they're telling a good story. This U.S. Championship, I don't like who owns it right now. I mean, who the current U.S. champion is. But I do like the story revolving around it, and I think the U.S. tournament has been pretty successful thus far. Even though they did my man Karrion Kross dirty. But Kevin Owens, man, he's been entertaining since he got called back to SmackDown recently, a couple months ago. I think it was like October or November or something like that. And yeah, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are helping that. Not that Kevin Owens like would need help making something entertaining, because Kevin Owens is great. But yeah, good old KO. I hope he ends up winning the title, and if not him, then Mr. LA Knight. Yeah. But yeah, Kevin Owens is the good booking for SmackDown. So with that being said, since it's close to the end of the year and this video will probably be live very, very early 2024, I'm going to go ahead and do a special little segment for this video. And I'm going to give my match of the year for the women and men's divisions. So, match of the year for the women's side is Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the Women's SmackDown Championship at WrestleMania 39. That happened earlier this year in April 2023. I still cannot thinking about it because it was like the happiest day in my life as a Rhea Ripley fan. They finally put her over. They finally had Charlotte put over someone that's new and up and coming, and Rhea deserves it. She really did. I was so excited that she actually beat Charlotte, and I don't really like Charlotte's character, but still, like, Charlotte is one of the best. I can't disagree with that. I acknowledge that. But yeah, Rhea Ripley, man, she deserved it. Now for the men's, this was kind of tough because there's a lot of matches that stood out to me, right? I could have chosen the Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew triple threat for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, right? I could have chosen that. I could have chosen SummerSlam 23. Or not SummerSlam 23. What's the SummerSlam 23? The Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns match. Tribal Combat. I could have chosen that. I forget which premium live event that was on. But yeah, I can't. I could have chosen that, right? I could have chosen Brock versus Cody 3, right? I could have chosen those. There's plenty more that I'm not remembering at the moment that are locked away in my head. But my match of the year for the men's division is gonna have to be Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny, WrestleMania Backlash 23. That match, I have not stopped thinking about that match since I've watched it, dude. The crowd was electric. The match was all you could ask for given the circumstances. And Bad Bunny and Damian Priest are like, so they deserve their flowers for that match. Like, it wouldn't have worked as good as it did if they didn't do what they did in that match. Bad Bunny trained his ass off, and you could tell he's the best celebrity wrestler in my opinion. Second to none. The whole crowd, like when he came out, they were singing his song, and both men are Puerto Rican, so it was very special. Like, there was just a very magical element surrounding the match. Like, the atmosphere was very, very special and magical, you know? Like, it had that element to it, the special feeling going into the match, watching the match, and looking back at the match, at least for me. And Bad Bunny looked great in the ring. Damian, like, killed him like twice. I swear, bro. Like, Bad Bunny took a bump from like in the crowd area. He got choke slammed on and through some tables, you know, on top of some like equipment boxes. That was fucking crazy. And I was not sure who was going to win, to be honest. I felt like it would be Bad Bunny just to send the crowd at home because they were singing his song when he came out, man. Like, and it was just nuts. Like, that entire match, dude. You had the LWO come out to fight the Judgment Day, which was just Finn and Dom at the time. And Carlito came out. And I forget the other guy's name, but he looked cool. He had glasses. Sorry, I can't remember your name at the moment. But yeah, that match just was the best. The best of the year. At least on the men's side. And that was just crazy. I do want to say that Io Sky's match in, I think, that same event, WrestleMania Backlash, the crowd loved her, and I felt very happy about that. I felt like she's underappreciated. But yeah, so with that being said, those are my matches of the year. Those are my good, mid, bad bookings for the month of December 2023. And with that being said, if you disagree, if you agree, if you don't give a shit, or if you don't even care about wrestling, let me know down in the comments, and we'll talk about it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'm going to be doing this as a recurring thing every month towards the end of the month, most likely at the beginning of a new month, because it makes sense. But it's supposed to be every Friday of it's the last Friday of the month. It's what it's supposed to be. So there. That's when it should come out. Um, so yeah. With that being said, thank you for watching, and continue being a nerd because nerds are cool. Look at wrestling. We wouldn't have pro wrestling if not for nerds, right? You can't disagree with that. No matter how cool they are, they're all nerds. So yeah. Anyways, peace out, guys.